Alrighty, we're back with part 6. So we're pretty much just going to jump into this. So again, we're making some speculation about what's going to be on the new digital SHSAT. Basically, my claim is that the content is going to be the same, and it's not just my claim. The DOE has confirmed and supported the notion that that is going to be the case. So there is no new content per se. However, there's new question styles. All right. And with the new question styles, there's inadvertently new content because it's a different way of approaching stuff. So kind of what I showed you so far for the and the math sections are kind of not really too theatrical, and they're just run of the mill adaptations they made to these things. So so what we're going to do next is explore what some of the differences now might be. The next set of things are kind of be more impactful, if you will. So let's see what's going on here. All right, so I have a bunch of things here. So what we're going to show is a number line example. All right, so you may have something like x is less than or equal to 9. All right, so this is just mock-up stuff I did here. So what we want to do, and I hope, again, this shows up on the stream. So we want to have less than or equal to 8 there. So if we go over to what 8 is, right, it's including it. So if we click on the 8, we get a red dot. All right, and then it's going to be everything less than that. So basically, we want to create an arrow situation with it, right? So that would be including it, right? But if we where is my keyboard? Okay, so if we do that, right, we can get an arrow there. So I have it set up so you can get the arrows onto it as well. But that would be a solution set. So currently, number lines were done on paper. Right, so let's see. Yeah, it's showing. All right, so I see it's here, so we're good. All right, let me just make sure it puts the arrow on there. Put the dot in there. Should put the arrow in a second. Come on, there we go. All right, so these look like they're gonna show for you guys, and then it could be anything. It could be a total inequality where we could put this on this side where we have like let's see, -8 is less than that way. Right? So then at that example, we'd have a different thing. So let me copy and paste this to kind of show you guys. So that's the example. Let me refresh this. We'll come back into the example. So we have, it's gonna have -8 over here, but that is not included with it, right? So it says holding the space bar does an unfilled dot. So if I do that, look, I get an unfilled dot, right? So on the other side, it does include 8. So I'm going to go over to 8 and click that, and we should get the blue bar going from the two of those, right? So we do. All right, so this is going to be one of the differences. All right, this isn't too amazing. It's just obvious. So part of the burden, if you will, is going to be following these new instructions they're going to give you guys for some of these kind of questions. All right, that's really the situation there. All right, so that's the number line. I have another one here with the same thing, graph. That was the question we had before. That was one of the ones that I had as a grid in. Okay, but they also want you to do this on the number line with certain things. So the number line it's gonna be the same number line I just drew, right? But you're gonna figure out your answers where you had 5 is less than the square root of n is less than the square root of 6. You get you square all terms. You get 25 is less than n is less than 36, right? So this number line I drew only goes from -10 to 10, but you would that would be your constraint there as well, all right? So again, that it's not anything too wild. Okay, graph a line. So this is just basically putting in 2 points. Bam, bam, and it does that, right? I could come over here, go to the corner, come to the other corner, and bam, it draws that line there. So there's nothing too wild again here. So there might be a question where it's going to ask you certain things that you need to calculate. You're going to get to 2 points and figure them out, right? So and these are line segments that we'll be talking about in that case. It might ask you to plot a point. It might say plot 0.5, so you come there and that's 0.5, right? It might ask you to do -5 that, you come down to that. Look at that, gives you the line. So this is one that gives you a line. Sometimes it might tell you where you're at if you look at the bottom here, right? It might tell you where you're at there or not. So we're not sure. Those parts are really up to the test writer, and they're really question specific at that point. But now we have graphical answers, right? So if it asks you to plot this upper left thing I did there, right? And I can refresh this page just to make it clear. If it said to plot -5, 5, well, let's just go with -5, -5. That, and then it said there's something at the center. It said those 2 points. It'll figure out that you plotted those 2 points and it drew the line there, all right? And it may ask you to do something like, now draw a line that's perpendicular to it. So you might go and do that or something, right? Which is testing some of your geometry skills and the coordinate geometry simultaneously, right? So we can just go anywhere with this kind of capability, right? So it's not really going to matter. So that, again, I think that kind of makes it cool. And again, the point we're trying to show here is not only the digital questions, but how the bubble sheet gets thrown out the window, right? That was a main thing I was talking about when I did the ELA section, part 4. But I didn't really mention it part 5 because we were just really doing some of the same stuff. This is different. So we're giving graphical answers. So the notion that there's 57 questions kind of also gets thrown out the window. And then the question is, how do we score this? If there was one asking you to plot the point, let me refresh this one more time so we're clear with the. So one part might be plot this point, right? It's not plotting it now. What's going on? Okay, there it goes. Plot that point. Plot that point. That might be 2 questions, and then the next one might be plot a line that's perpendicular to that. Of course, that's not the only line perpendicular, because we can come over, say, here and here. That's also perpendicular. We can come where? Over here and I guess over here. Bam, right? That's also perpendicular, right? So this is about spatial math now too, right? This is what I'm saying. There's now new question types. It's still testing your skills on perpendicular, on drawing a line, on a coordinate grid, on presenting a point, but there's a new flavor to it now that was not available previously. Now they're good on the paper-based exam, have made you draw this stuff, but again, I think it becomes more apt that it's going to happen here. So that's our example there. If you would like to like and subscribe to the video, please do so. That is something that would be wonderful. It helps the channel. This is a lot of work coming up with these examples and doing the videos. So please like and subscribe. And you'll find out new stuff, especially on this series, because we're presenting new things. So we have, what do we do? Do we graph the line? Yeah, we did that. Points in a triangle. So you might be presented with a coordinate grid, and they may ask you just to plot some stuff. We put a point there, and we come down here, put a point here. So there might be some sort of triangular-based question, where not only is it going to ask you to plot them, but another part might be to find the area of the triangle that was just drawn. Or if we come around, it might ask you, what is the area of a containing rectangle, right? So the containing rectangle would end up having a point there, right? Another point, where? Right there, right? And I'm not going to draw it because it's going to put the triangle, but the other point would be here. Actually, let's do it. Bam, right? So see, so that would be the second half. That's the point from before, right? So we can see that might be what the area is. So, or it might say, what is the area of the containing rectangle, not including the triangle, right? So the original triangle would be the area of the square. mine is there, the triangle, and then what's left is the area. So there's a lot of things they can do with this. All right, so again, it's just plotting points. And that means there seems to be an indication, and I don't know if this is going to be true, it's just an observation, that there might be more graph paper-based exams, if you will, right? Because this becomes a little more easier from the disk. Because all the recording at this point is mouse clicks, right? Or even just the points. Because you can obviously, there would probably be a button saying clear grid in case you made a mistake to start over and stuff like that. So, and it's probably logging all your information anyway. But at the point where you commit to it, because you're going to commit, go click the next button or something, and that will be your answer, right? And as you'll be able to go back and forth between questions and things like that. At least for the digital exam, we don't know enough about the adaptive exam to know if that's going to be true or not, right? So anyway, we can actually start drawing shapes and being asked questions about the shapes that got drawn. Okay, we could find the area. This point one is the same. We're just being asked to do stuff, and it might just do something. I have a question later on where it says there's 3 points that might give you 3 points, and I'll ask for a parallelogram. Well, it seems to me this point over here, where is it? No, it's going to be there, I guess. No, where is it going to be? Is it that? Yeah, that would make a parallelogram. But that's not the only where a place a parallelogram could be, because it could be another one if we use the original 3 squares. I don't know if it's too far. What it's going to be around over here, where this -8 -1 is, right? Because that could also make a parallelogram. So they might ask you that, and then piggyback questions off of that as well. And they may design it where whether you put the point over here or the one that's here based on the question, right? So they might have a certain thing where it's oriented a certain way. So that's points. If we come back to the ELA, well, we had showed this. I'll show these really fast. You can drag stuff into these boxes here. So there's no reason a math question can't have that as well. I'm not putting these in the right order. And obviously, let's say I put the second one wrong, I could drop this one on top of that, bam, and then I still have the availability to drop another one up there or whatever, right? So there's that. Even though this is ELA, it could still be a math one. It could be about what are the steps to solve a math question, right? So there could be something like that. Personality traits. We talked about like the turtle was patient and the rabbit was fast, but these could be characteristics of geometry as well. We had the one before about squares and rectangles, and there was another one I had about the area of a cylinder and stuff. They could also use this technique here, right? So again, it's opening up possibilities here. And there's multiple answers here, right? So, because the turtle not only was patient, but it was slow. And the turtle was determined, right? So we're going to be looking at those kind of things as well, where we're mixing and matching different answers. So that's kind of cool as well. And again, it's opening up new question types. Not only is it a new question type because it's digital, but it's asking us to think in a different way, right? So that's kind of cool. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have histogram bars. All right, so this one is a completely different thing. So we have to solve a question on the top there, and when we get the answer, we have to drag it across and do what it says. So it turns out the answer to this is the order of the bars. So, but if you notice, we're just going to drag these over here. So you have to do a computation, and then commit to the answer by putting the histogram bars in the wrong place. It is a lot of stuff they can do with histogram bars here, not just a geometric decay problem or something like that too. It could be a little more tricky, a little more involved, a little more detailed. All right, so there's that. I think that's kind of cool. I think so. As you're watching, we went from multiple choice to multiple response to fill in the blank to drop down, and now we have these guys here, which can apply to the ELA section as well. So I think this is kind of cool stuff to be able to do. Proportional relationships. So we have something like this, dealing with a hotspot. click on the item that shows a direct proportional relationship. So again, there can be more than one answer. So if you know it deals with y equals kx form, then you know that might be the answer. Graph 1, you might know to be a COP, a constant of proportionality. It has to go through 0, 0. So it's not going to be graph 1. It's going to be graph 3. And then if you notice table 1 and table 2, so they're giving us equations, they're giving us graphs, and they're giving us tables. So we have to find which one actually works here. And if we notice on table number 1, if we divide all the distances by 5, we get the thing there. So we would click on that. So that would be your 3 answers. Again, it's a different way of doing this. And again, what I like about this, which is unlike the bubble sheet, where you have to go and erase your answers, is you can click and you can also unclick stuff, right? So let's say you click that, and it was the wrong answer, you just unclick it, you unclick it, you unclick it, bam, right? You live happily ever after, right? So that's kind of awesome. And I don't know yet how they're going to do scoring, but when you come back to a question, that's certainly going to be allowed in 2025. You might know that's definitely one of them. So you're going to click on that. And then when you come back to it, you're going to be sure, right? So, and by the way, there's going to be also tools. I'm not really going to do a video on tools yet until it's a little more clear. I think there's a lot more variability in the way tools can go, but one tool might be to zoom, right? Another tool might be to highlight, where you can get like a different pencil shape or something, where you're going to go in and actually use a highlighter. This is going to be handy if you may be highlighting text in the ELA section, but there's no reason you can't come along here and highlight something like that. Shows, or actually you would want proportional relationship. That's the operative thing here. That's what they're looking for. So what you might want to do is highlight that and then try to do the answer. There's a whole bunch of tools they're going to give you guys. Just remember, a calculator is still not allowed on the SHSAT. So there's things like that. All right, so that is the question relating to hotspots there. What else do we have? Where are we? Coordinate interaction. All right, so this one is kind of a weird question. This could have been done on a paper-based exam, where they could have called this point A, that point B, that point C, that point D. And again, there can be multiple answers. So it says click on the thing and it turns to red. So if the answer was that, bam, the blue dot turns to that, right? And this is a little awkward. Like, what do they mean that the y coordinate is greater in value than the x coordinate? Well, this is minus 2, 4. So 4 is the y coordinate. 4 is greater than minus 2. And it makes you kind of stop and think a little bit. So again, I think there's a bunch of opportunities here available for the digital SHSAT test writers to give us. And again, this doesn't make the question harder or easier. It's just a different way of approaching it. So again, this is a new question style, if you will, if they add this kind of a thing onto it, right? So we're doing surmising, we're speculating here. Let's see, that one was, which one was that? Was that this one here? Hold on. Okay, that's that. Okay, identify a linear equation. So we have something like this, where we can actually start dragging pieces into here, right? That is the form of a linear equation. So again, I'm not dragging the right information here. You would use the table here, figure it out, and that would be your equation. All right, and it might allow you to replace your answer there, right? And do that stuff. I don't have that working right, but that was not the point of showing all this. Anyway, that's a new way of doing it, right? Again, kind of cool. So if we come back to this, let's see, where are we? Identify an inequality. Same kind of thing here, right? We have temperatures here, and they want you to write an inequality showing the low versus the high. So we could take, for instance, the 8 here. Oops, didn't let me drag that. It's not letting, wait, I'm putting in the wrong place, that's why. The 8 there, is going to be on the high end. So that's going to be greater than or equal because that was the temperature. X is our inequality norm in the middle, right? And that also is going to be greater than or equal to the smallest number. So the smallest number is the -7, right? If you make a mistake, you just go back and fix it. So again, this is a completely different way. And it's almost fun to kind of be solving this kind of question. All right, so there's that. Let's see, what was that? Was that identifying a linear equation? Let's see, identify. Yeah, that was identifying a linear equation. Um, identify an inequality. Wait, we did that. Identify ratios. All right, so we have, this one gets a little more complicated. We have an aquarium that holds 12 stones that are different colors. The stones in the ratio of red, blue, and green with the numbers 1, 1.5, and 0.5. And then it says drag the right number of stones from the bottom there. So we have 12 red, 12 blue, and 12 green stones that we need to drag into this blue aquarium to get the number right. So then we can start dragging these guys, right? So, but we need to get this right because look what it says. It's 1 to 1.5 to 0.5. So what we need to do is normalize the ratio to get rid of the fractions so we get whole numbers. And once we figure that out, then we can kind of do this kind of thing, right? Because if we double each number there, we basically get 2 to 3 to 1. 2 to 3 to 1, right? That means there's 6 parts. 2 plus 3 plus 1 is 6 parts, right? So then if we need to fill up the 6 parts in this kind of thing here, right? With the 12 things there. So you would drag the right distribution of all these guys into there. Whoops. So we would have something like that. Yeah, wait, I'm trying to use my trackpad to do this. And it doesn't even have to be in the order there. So what I might do is put the 2 green on the top. Now, I wouldn't logically figure this out this way, but we might put 2 green on the top and fill, and then figure out what's the ratio. Oh, I need 2 more red or something like that, right? So that would be a way to do it as well, right? Because if it's 2 to 3 to 1, then it's also 4 to 6 to 2. All right, so again, this is something you could solve as well. And again, it's a completely different way of approaching this. So that's kind of cool as well. All right, and we can do charts and medians as well. So I'm not sure if this is going to come out either, but basically we're going to drag that center histogram. So before we had dragging histograms, right? So you kind of need to figure this out. Basically, I think it was any value over 53 or something when I wrote this. So, so basically, this leans into the things where, oh, well, once you understand what the mean is and how histograms work, you can almost bring this to 100%, and that's your 5-second solutions of this kind of thing. All right, so that is that. Let's see here. I did do some more things. Let me refresh this and see if they pop up there. Yeah, there we go. So we have a bunch of transformation things here. So this one looks a little dizzying. It's asking you to select one of these triangles based on starting with the blue triangle. And if you click on a triangle, it boldfaces. So we can use that. It says rotate by 45 degrees. So you have to figure out which one does that. Oh, it looks like the green. So let me deselect the blue. So I'm at the green now. The next step is reflection across the y-axis. So we're basically taking that and spinning it around as if the y-axis was a pole, all right? Once we do that, we realize, oh, that's the purple one there. And then the next one is to reflect that across the x-axis. So now we're rotating as if we're rolling it like a can, right? And then we realize that the answer is the red triangle, all right? So the red triangle is the one that we're left with that's boldface there. Okay, even though it says you clicked on the purple triangle. Second, I could now double click this. The final answer needs to be which one is the final transformation. That's the one you want on the board, and it doesn't really matter exactly how it's going to work. And again, this is just my modeling of the situation. All right, so we can do transformations that way. We could also have the 4 triangles over on the left-hand side, and it may ask you to drag the final concluding triangle into not only into the coordinate grid, but into the right place, right? Because if you look at, if we go back to the blue triangle, let's get rid of some of these. Hold on, wait. Yeah. Okay, the original thing was 1, 2, 3, 3, 0, right? So we need to get that coordinate, whatever it was, let's call that point A. We need to figure out where that is on the red triangle, right? Is it the one up here? Is it the one up here? Is it the one over there, right? So that's something you need to figure out. So they may ask you to drag the red triangle. If they were all on the side, drag it in not only into the coordinate grid, but into the right place, right? So that's another dimension and aspect to doing this kind of a thing. Okay, and I'm going to show you one last example dealing with simultaneous equations. So what they may do is give you a multi-step problem to solve. So the first one might ask you to plot y is less than 5x plus 5. So I don't have this perfect. I'm going to do this just basically as a line. So you're going to click on that, and you're going to actually get that line to draw. So what you're going to do is plot 2 points on that blue line. And when you do it, it's going to show up as blue. So one point is going to be that, and another point might be this one here. All right, so we're going to get that, right? We can double check it because it goes through -1, 0, right? So that makes sense. If x is -1 down here on the blue button, then we're going to get -5 plus 5 went to 0. All right. And then we're going to leave the rest of the part alone because it's asking for the shading of that. But what we want to do with this kind of question is do the 2 shadings and figure out where the overlap shading is. So we have a line coming through the grid. Should the shading be on the left side of the blue line or the right side of the blue line, right? So y is less than that. So normally it would be on the right side, right? So, but they're asking you to do this for the simultaneous equation aspect of it. So what I'm going to do is click on the green button now, and then plot the second one. So the second one, if x is 0, then y is 3. So I'm going to put that there. And if x is, say, 1, then we're going to get 6 out of that. So where is that? 4, 5, 6. So we do that. Bam. All right. So, and they both intersect there. So that makes sense because if x is -1, then we get y being 0. But in this case, the answer should be above it. All right. So then what they're going to ask you to do is something like click on the shade area button down here, the gray one, and then click on some place on the coordinate grid to shade it in. So the answer would be there, bam, right there. Okay. So that's really what we're looking for. All right, so there's a new level to this. Now, if you're familiar with taking the Regents or even the New York State exams, there's kind of a show you work section. Now, normally the SHSAT has not had show you work because it's too much work to grade a test at this kind of level and get it right. Remember, this is a competition, and it does need to get done exactly correctly so that there's no repercussions and stuff like that. So this is just a sampling of the possible things that can go on. You can read some of the stuff here. You can pause the video for those who are going to get this on replay and pause the video and see what's going on there. And I'm just going to wrap it up back at the same thing that, again, you guys can reach me at GregsTutoringNYC@gmail.com. And this is not an official discussion. I am speculating. I am surmising. I have not seen the digital exam. I have been talking with the DOE, but they're still very tight-lipped. All right, so all we're trying to do here is explore additional opportunities and see kind of what else is going on. All right, so that is the end of this. I see a few people in the lobby. Does anybody have any questions? It's been a quiet group today. If not, we've gone through about 40 questions, about 15 ELA questions from the part 4, and about 25 math questions between the part 5 and part 6 for the math. So this should give a good flavor for anybody who is curious at the worst. Some people are frustrated, some people are confused, some people are worried. All right, so this should be calm yourself. This is not rocket science that's going to happen here. It is the concepts and topics are still the same exam you know and love, but as you can see, these new question types do add a new flavor to it, and that is going to make some differences. It will, and it's going to change the way the exam is viewed, if you will. All right. Last shot at asking a question. And I'm going to keep following the news on the SHSAT. They're going to keep outreaching to the DOE. And we're going to get this all figured out. And hopefully the DOE releases some questions soon so we can verify if what I'm talking about is actually making any sense. And not only the questions, but actually the platform. I don't think I would be pleased if they just present a DOE handbook. And again, there's going to be some tools available to use during the exam, and a lot more details forthcoming. But this is just a discussion, speculating what might be and how it can change, and how this is not as bad as it seems. All right. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect. In fact, I don't even believe the paper exam is perfect. All right. So that's pretty much it. All right. Gone. All right. Please like, please subscribe. Please email me any other questions you have, whether it's about the digital SHSAT, the SHSAT, tutoring, whatever the case may be. All right. And hopefully this has been helpful to everybody. Peace, y'all.